The Bible is describing the Old Testament like sexual relations or whatever. It never said, and they had crazy sex. That's not what it says, does it? It says, and he knew her.
Hey, welcome to the workshop with the guys of A Better Us. Hey, we're talking home improvement here, guys. We've got Eric Maines, we've got Dan McCauley, we've got Mike Pinball Clemens, of course, and joining us, Psychologist Dr. Mike Ronsisvalle. You know him from On the Beach with Dr. Mike on A Better Us. Great to have you here in the workshop with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, every relationship needs a little renovation, but getting together with guys, it's not a typical thing to talk about relationships, right? And to talk about feelings and romance. We like to talk about sports, maybe our tools, our tool collection, maybe fishing or whatever it is. But so
chicken wings and steaks.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Food. Eric's thinking food. I get it. Yeah. So, Dr. Mike, thank you for helping us focus where we need to have it here in the workshop. And so let's jump into the topic you have for us today.
All right. So every guy watching this segment right now, you need to stop, press pause if you can, go get your wife, because we're talking about a topic that you're going to want to talk about, right? This is the sex topic, right? This comes up all the time in marital therapy. What do people fight about? Fight about money. They fight about sex, right? It's an issue for couples to figure out how to navigate sexuality in a healthy way, especially in a way that honors God. So I want to start with just a neurological reality. The brain responds differently to novel stimuli. That's just reality. So the first time that we had sex with our wives, it was brand new, right? And so that activates this part of the brain. And man, that novel sexual stimuli, it just pours dopamine into your brain. And dopamine is the feel-good principle, right? Of the chemical. So man, it's fantastic. Yeah. But as you get exposure to the same stimuli over time, the neurological stimulation goes down. There's not as much dopamine. So I think I love chocolate chip cookies. Since I'm a little kid, I love chocolate chip cookies, and I would eat them every day. Like I remember eating chocolate chip cookies, pinball, for every day for probably 25, 30 years of my life, every day.
Wow.
Right?
Good streak.
Oh, it was awesome. It's a sweet streak. And when I would eat them, I loved them. They were great, but they were just part of my life. I stopped eating cookies for the most part, maybe 15 years ago. Now I eat chocolate chip cookies about once every quarter, like 4 times a year maybe. And dude, when I eat a chocolate chip cookie now, it's not like it's no big deal. It is like, this is amazing. It's awesome, right? There's a ton of dopamine. And the metaphor there is sexually, people feel like something's wrong in their marriage if they feel like this sexual sort of excitement starts to sort of like dwindle as you go forward in a marriage. And
to be clear, you're not telling us to have sex quarterly.
It's not what I'm saying.
Just check.
It's not what I'm saying.
You might have lost some guys.
Every guy just turned the TV off.
All right, forget about this.
What I'm saying is, people think something's wrong if that intense emotion sexually isn't there 30 years into their marriage, when the truth is that's just a neurological reality. So what do we do to kind of maintain that spark? That's the question. I have some ideas, and then I want to throw it out to you guys. If novelty is what the brain is craving, then honestly, guys, we've got to kind of mix it up sexually. Like, guys, look, we know how this is. We want to sit on the couch in our boxer shorts with like a torn shirt, like just binging on Netflix. And then when we're ready, say, all right, it's time to have sex. That's not novelty. Let's put it that way. There's nothing.
Probably don't smell very good at that point.
Look, that's a novelty you don't want. So we got to mix it up, like romance your wife, right? Like you're gonna get your wife much more interested in sexuality. That spark is going to come back if you're taking her to do the fun things, if you're going on walks, if you're taking her to a nice dinner. That's where sex starts. Sex starts walking down the street with your wife when you're holding her hand. Like that's the first sexual act that ends in like a pretty hot monogamy later on that night.
Okay, well, who's going to jump in on this one? Well, here's a hot topic for you.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll jump right in, and one thing is just to honor milestones. Yeah. Right. So we have birthdays, right, and anniversaries and all of those things, and we can do something. We can sort of buy a gift, and we kind of do, but why not go crazy on those days, right? And the part, the sex part, that just follows it, right? It becomes a part of it because you love your bride, and sometimes it's not how much you spend. Often, as a matter of fact, not how much you spend, right? But the work that went in, the ideology behind it, right? I remember younger. Doing these different things with the kids, right? When we had these days, we put gifts all the way around the house. They put one in the washing machine, and then another one, then something else outside, and it would be this hunt, right? And so as we keep life fresh, right, and we are intentional about marriage, right, and building the relationship, not just what comes with that, right, but be excited about building the relationship, doing those little things where we make sure that we make time, right, to do something that is more than the ordinary.
That's good. I heard at a marriage seminar, the teacher was saying, now you need to really understand what's important to your wife, and it leaned to the guy. He says, in fact, what is your wife? What's your favorite flower? And so he thought about it and leaned to his wife and said, it's Pillsbury all-purpose, isn't it? Anyway, so he was a little bit clueless. Yeah. But yeah, we need to have that spark. We need to know what's important to our spouse, and those little things can be really important. In fact, I brought an illustration here. We're in the workshop, right? This is what I've used to do some plumbing. All right, and so you might have the gas on, but it doesn't do anything until you have that little spark,
there
right?
We go.
Woo! And then things can heat up. But what does the spark? Sometimes it's just those little things, just a little spark. Yes. You do something, you send a text during the day maybe it's a phone call, you stay in touch. If they know you're thinking about, if your wife knows you're thinking about her when you're not together, I think that's an important thing for romance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have these memories of back when we were younger, and the dating and all the spark that was there. It's not really always a fair comparison because we're not even really showing our true selves at that point when we're dating, right? They say the true test of romance or whatever. It's not the first kiss. It's the first fart. It's the first time that you're willing to be that real with your spouse that you like to be held like a fart on a first date, that we hold back the true reality of who we really are.
This is novel. I gotta give this is novel.
It also stinks.
But then the monotony and the realness and the boxers with the torn shirt and all that come in. So finding ways to be creative to. I've thought about why not recreate one of those first dates? Why not, go parking somewhere where you once parked and kind of put on that same music and remember some of those old feelings and stir up, some of those old things, or do something completely new, that you've never done. The novelty. You can kind of regain some of those old feelings, or or create something new. And the other thing I think, especially in the context of marriage, because we're in it for the long haul here, is it's like this myth that sex has to be like on 10 sexiness, where everything's crazy or whatever all the time. Life's just not like that. And I think we need to accept to some degree that there's an ebb and flow. There are seasons in sex, and it's okay if it's not like on level 10 all the time. There's an ebb and flow, and I'm not saying just take whatever and toss in the towel on trying, but I'm saying there's going to be an ebb and flow, and there's going to be some times where it's just it is what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of those ebbs, there's some really good excuses that you can put in place, saying, you know what, I can't be romantic with you here because, well, for example, we have a 7-month-old baby boy sleeping in our bedroom who wakes us up every once in a while, and yeah, he's right there. And but Kara and I, so in preparation for this topic, Kara and I were talking, and we realized how many excuses we actually have when it comes to romance, like going on dates. We're always just like, hey, well, we have young kids right now. Like we have 3 kids, age 4 and under, and so we're like, oh, so it's too busy right now. We'll do that in the next season. But then we kind of thought about it. We sat there and we're like, there's going to be just as many excuses in the next season as well. We need to figure out where our priorities are, and between us, our romance, that spark, that needs to be a higher priority than the 3 hours I spent on my phone, going through Instagram Reels or anything like that. So we aren't good at this right now, but we're setting priorities to make this a habit.
It's funny, Eric, because what you're talking about is just sort of setting structure to the spark and to the romance. And so it's a balancing act, right? Because you need that, especially where you guys are at, man. Y'all are getting bombarded with kids and responsibilities. So just saying, hey, we're going to do something that is romantic or sexual on Friday nights, come hell or high water. That's happening, right? So you balance that with, we also have to do the novel stuff, the new stuff, the exciting stuff. I do want to say, in addition to dopamine, another chemical that's released in your brain with romance and even sexuality is oxytocin. Oxytocin is that connection chemical, right? And as we age and we get older, the dopamine goes down, but the oxytocin can go up. In the Bible, when people, the Bible is describing the Old Testament like sexual relations or whatever, it never said, and they had crazy sex. That's not what it says, does it? It says, and he knew her. How powerful is that, man, to think that, okay, wait, beyond the pornographied understanding of what sexuality is that our culture just bombards us with, there's something much deeper here that we're pursuing. It's that deep knowing, that vulnerable state to say, okay, God, you're God's gift to me, and I value you. And this sexuality, this spark is something that just you and I share. And it doesn't have to be crazy. It can just be close and intimate and deep. And man, the depth of that connection is the beauty of a Christian marriage for sure.
That's why you're Dr. Mike and I'm just Mike. So I was going to say that, really asking her what she likes, what she enjoys, right? Because that changes over time as well, right? Their wants and their needs, and so, but really communicating and understanding each other's desires, right?
The couples that talk about sex have better sex.
Yes.
And I love to challenge guys to say, when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things on your mind can be, what one thing can I say or do to my wife, for my wife today, that will let her know that I'd marry her all over again and that she's still the one. And so just think about that and what, at least one thing that will do that. And not that it's your motive, but that will have those repercussions in the bedroom, because that's her big need, is to have that sense of security in the relationship. But do something just to bless the socks off her, and that's romance to her, just to say what can I say or do because I know her, or I need to study her a little better to see what are the things that really she loves, and do those things and see what happens. Love it. Good discussion, guys. All right. Stay with us. More A Better Us to come. It's been great in the workshop here. Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here on our A Better Us YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage even better.
Right. And you can see just a few options we think you might like here and here. So keep exploring.
Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way all the time.